Everything you desire already exists. You are not creating something from nothing. You are simply choosing a reality that already is. Every possible outcome, every version of yourself, every circumstance you wish to experience is already woven into the fabric of existence. The only thing required of you is selection. Most people live as if life is a series of struggles, obstacles, and uncertainties. They believe they must fight for their desires, earn them, or prove their worth before they can receive them. But this mindset is rooted in ignorance of how reality truly works. There is no need to struggle for what is already yours. The moment you understand that creation is finished, the moment you grasp that your desires exist in a state of completion, you will begin to move through life with ease. Time is an illusion. What you perceive as the future is simply an unseen reality waiting to be claimed. The version of you who already has everything you desire is not years away. It is simply an assumption away. When you understand this, you will stop waiting and start being. Instead of hoping for a better life, you will assume the identity of the one who already lives it. Instead of longing for success, you will embody the mind of the successful. Instead of wishing for love, you will carry yourself as one who is already deeply loved. Your external world is a mirror. It does not create, it reflects. It shows you who you believe you are. If you see lack, it is because you hold lack within. If you experience struggle, it is because you assume struggle is necessary. The moment you shift internally, the external must adjust accordingly. This is not speculation, it is law. You cannot receive what you have not claimed in consciousness. Many fail to grasp this because they are conditioned to believe in effort over assumption, action over imagination. But imagination is the source of all things. Everything that exists in the physical world was first conceived in the unseen. The chair you sit on, the building you stand in, the phone in your hand. Each was first imagined before it was made manifest. The same principle applies to your desires. If you can imagine it and assume it as your present reality, the world must reorganize itself to reflect your assumption. The key is to stop chasing and start assuming. Most live in a state of wanting, constantly affirming their separation from their desires. They say, I wish I had more money. I hope I find love. I want success. But in doing so, they reinforce the idea that these things are distant and unattainable. The shift happens when you move from wanting to being. Instead of saying, I wish I were wealthy, you assume, I am wealthy. Instead of hoping for love, you dwell in the knowing that you are already loved. This is not self-deception, it is alignment. When you align with a state, the physical world conforms to match it. Doubt is the only barrier. The moment you question whether it will happen, you affirm that it has not. The moment you wonder when it will come, you place it in the future instead of the now. And as long as you place it in the future, it will remain there, always just out of reach. To manifest, you must collapse time by assuming that it is already done. Everything you seek is already here, waiting for you to claim it. There is no need to force, no need to strive, no need to prove yourself worthy. You are already worthy. You are already connected to all that you desire. The only question is whether you will step into the awareness of this truth. What you assume to be true with conviction must reflect in your world. Assumption is not wishful thinking, it is the creative force that shapes your reality. Every belief you hold, every thought you entertain with certainty is planting the seeds of your future experiences. The world does not respond to what you merely want. It responds to what you deeply believe. When you assume a state, you invite it into being, and the external world has no choice but to reflect that assumption back to you. Most people live reactively, believing that their circumstances dictate their beliefs. They wait for external proof before they allow themselves to feel successful, loved, or abundant. But this is operating backward. Reality does not work this way. You do not experience something and then believe it. You believe it first and then you experience it. If you assume yourself to be poor, no matter how much money you receive, your consciousness will find ways to affirm that belief. If you assume yourself to be unworthy, no amount of external validation will change your inner state. But if you assume wealth, if you assume love, if you assume success, reality must conform to that assumption, for it is law. Assumption is more powerful than effort. Many believe they must work tirelessly to change their circumstances, but action without the right assumption is wasted motion. It is not the effort that creates change. It is the state from which the effort arises. A person who assumes success will take action confidently, while a person who assumes failure will act hesitantly, doubtfully, and in fear. Two people can do the same work, but the one who assumes victory will succeed, while the one who assumes struggle will only reinforce struggle. It is never about what you do, but about who you believe yourself to be while doing it. The moment you persist in an assumption, the world begins to shift. At first, it may appear as if nothing is happening. This is where most people falter. They assume a new state briefly, but when they do not see instant results, they revert back to their old beliefs. But reality has a delay. It conforms to your dominant state, not to fleeting moments of faith. If you assume something and hold that assumption unwaveringly, the unseen forces of creation begin working in your favor. People, opportunities, and events will start aligning to reflect your inner state. You do not need to figure out how. Your only job is to remain firm in the assumption that it is already done. Doubt is the only thing that can undo an assumption. If you assume success but constantly question whether it will happen, you are contradicting yourself. The mind cannot hold opposing beliefs at once. You cannot assume wealth while secretly believing in lack. You cannot assume love while entertaining fears of rejection. Your dominant assumption will always win. This is why persistence is key. You must train your mind to accept your desired reality as fact, even before the outer world gives you confirmation. Imagination is the tool through which assumption is solidified. If you wish to assume a new state, immerse yourself in the feeling of already having it. Close your eyes and see yourself in possession of your desire. Hear the words you would hear if it were true. Feel the emotions you would feel. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. What you consistently assume with feeling must manifest. Those who master this technique walk through life with certainty. They do not hope or wish. They know. They assume the best, and the best unfolds effortlessly. The world is simply a reflection of what you assume to be true. Every experience you have, every person you encounter, and every opportunity that comes your way is responding to your state of consciousness. If you wish to change your life, do not look outside of yourself. Look within. Assume yourself to be the person you desire to be. Hold that assumption with unwavering faith, and reality will reshape itself to match. It has no choice. It is law. Your imagination is the only reality. Everything you experience in the physical world is a reflection of what first existed in the unseen realm of your mind. The outer world is not separate from you. It is simply a projection of your dominant thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. If you wish to change your reality, you must first change the images you hold within. The unseen world of imagination is the blueprint from which all things are made manifest. Most people believe that reality is something fixed and external, something that happens to them rather than something they create. They assume that circumstances shape their thoughts when, in truth, it is their thoughts that shape circumstances. The mistake is in looking at what is and assuming that it is permanent. Nothing in your external world is set in stone. It is fluid, shifting in response to the mental pictures you hold. When you understand this, you stop being a victim of life and become the creator of it. Imagination is not fantasy. It is the most powerful force in existence. Every invention, every achievement, every great work of art, and every breakthrough first began as an unseen image in someone's mind. The world you live in today was imagined. by those who came before you. The buildings you see, the technology you use, the very language you speak, all were first conceived in the mind before they were brought into form. If you can accept that the physical world is simply the product of imagination, then you must also accept that you hold the power to reshape your own life through the same principle. Most people misuse their imagination. They spend their days picturing failure, rejection, and disappointment. They replay past mistakes, worry about the future, and dwell on fears. Without realizing it, they are constantly visualizing negative outcomes, and in doing so, they bring those outcomes into reality. Whatever you hold consistently in your imagination, whether wanted or unwanted, must materialize. The mind does not discriminate, it simply brings forth whatever is impressed upon it. This is why it is essential to direct your imagination consciously, using it to create the life you desire, rather than reinforcing the life you wish to escape. The key is to feel as though your desired reality is already true. The subconscious mind responds to feeling, not logic. If you imagine something without emotion, it remains a passing thought. But if you imagine it vividly, with deep feeling, as though it is happening right now, your subconscious accepts it as fact. And once the subconscious accepts something as true, reality must conform. You do not have to force it or figure out how it will happen. Your only job is to persist in the assumption that it is happening. Doubt is the greatest enemy of creation. The moment you question whether your imagination holds power, you weaken its effect. The moment you look to the external world for proof before believing, you surrender your creative power. Reality is not created by external evidence. External evidence is created by internal belief. If you insist on waiting until you see something before you believe it, you will remain stuck. The law is simple. Believe first, and then you will see. Imagination is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, between the formless and the formed. If you desire a new life, you must first construct it in your mind. See yourself living the life you wish to experience. Hear the conversations you would hear if it were true. Feel the emotions of already possessing your desires. The more real it becomes in your imagination, the faster it will crystallize into physical reality. The world does not create for you, it reflects you. It mirrors the images you hold in your mind, the assumptions you persist in, and the feelings you consistently dwell in. To change your world, you must first change your inner reality. There is no other way. The power has always been within you, waiting for you to use it deliberately. Feel it before you see it. This is the key to bringing anything into your reality. The world does not respond to your wishes, your words, or even your actions alone. It responds to your state of being, the feeling that you embody in the present moment. Everything you desire already exists, but you must align with it emotionally and mentally before it can become visible in your physical world. If you wait for proof before you allow yourself to feel successful, abundant, or loved, you will always be waiting. But the moment you feel as though you already have what you seek, reality will shift to reflect that assumption. Most people live in the cycle of waiting. They wait for the right circumstances before they allow themselves to feel happy. They wait for money before they feel wealthy. They wait for love before they feel worthy. But waiting only reinforces the absence of what is desired. The subconscious mind accepts the dominant feelings you dwell in, and if you consistently feel lack, struggle, or doubt, that is exactly what your life will continue to reflect. You must break this cycle by feeling first, by embodying the state of the wish fulfilled before any evidence appears. The mind cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a physical one. If you close your eyes and truly immerse yourself in the feeling of already having what you desire, your subconscious mind accepts it as reality. This is why athletes visualize winning before they compete, why successful people carry themselves with confidence before they have achieved success, and why those who experience great love already feel whole within themselves. They are not reacting to the world, they are creating it from within. Emotion is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. It is not enough to simply think about what you want. You must feel it in your body, in your heart, in your entire being. If you desire wealth, how would it feel to already have it? Would you feel secure, free, or excited? If you desire love, how would it feel to be deeply cherished? Would you feel safe, joyful, or at peace? These are the emotions you must cultivate now, in the present moment, before anything changes externally. When you dwell in these feelings consistently, the world has no choice but to mirror them back to you. Many people struggle with this concept because they believe they need proof before they can feel a certain way. But this is operating backward. Feeling creates the proof, not the other way around. A person who feels successful will take actions from a place of confidence and clarity, and as a result, they will attract success. A person who feels abundant will see opportunities where others see obstacles, and as a result, they will manifest wealth. A person who feels loved will naturally draw in relationships that reflect their inner wholeness. Reality is never separate from you. It is a projection of your internal state. Doubt and impatience are the greatest disruptors of manifestation. The moment you start wondering, when will it happen, or why hasn't it shown up yet, you are reinforcing the idea that it is not here. The feeling of lack cancels out the feeling of fulfillment. This is why many people struggle with manifesting. They waver between faith and doubt, between assuming their desire is already theirs and questioning if it will ever come. You must remain unwavering in your assumption, holding the feeling of already having it no matter what the external world shows you. The key is persistence. It is not about forcing yourself to feel something artificially. It is about repeatedly returning to the state of already having what you seek. Every time you feel doubt creeping in, shift back to the feeling of fulfillment. Every time you catch yourself worrying, remind yourself that what you desire is already done. With practice, this feeling becomes natural, and once it does, reality must follow. The world is simply responding to the energy you are embodying. You must train yourself to feel in alignment with your desires before they manifest. This is how creation works. Those who understand this walk through life with certainty, not because they see proof, but because they know that the proof must come. They feel abundance before the money arrives, love before the relationship appears, and success before the world acknowledges them. And because they feel it first, they always receive it. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. Every experience you encounter, every person you meet, and every circumstance you face is simply mirroring back to you the beliefs, emotions, and assumptions you hold within. The world does not exist separate from you. It is responding to you, shaping itself according to your dominant state of being. If you want to change what you see outside, you must first change what is happening inside. Most people believe that life is happening to them. They think their circumstances are random, dictated by luck, fate, or the actions of others. They see obstacles as external forces beyond their control, not realizing that these obstacles are merely reflections of their own beliefs. If a person constantly experiences rejection, they assume the world is against them, never stopping to consider that deep down they may carry an assumption of unworthiness. If someone repeatedly struggles with money, they believe the economy, their job, or their background is to blame, when in reality, their subconscious mind is simply recreating the financial limitations they expect. You cannot escape your own consciousness. Wherever you go, whatever you do, life will continue to reflect back to you who you are internally. If you believe the world is harsh and unfair, you will find endless proof to support that belief. If you believe people cannot be trusted, you will continuously meet those who betray you. If you assume success is difficult, every door will seem closed to you. The external world is neutral. It does not impose any reality upon you. It simply mirrors the reality you accept within yourself. This is why change must always begin within. If you try to force change externally while still holding on to the same internal beliefs, nothing will shift. A person who wins the lottery but still carries a mindset of lack will find themselves losing all their money because their inner world still expects scarcity. A person who enters a new relationship but still carries the wounds of past heartbreak will eventually recreate the same struggles because their inner state remains unchanged. No matter how much action they take, if their consciousness remains the same, their reality will remain the same. The good news is that this law works both ways. Just as negative assumptions manifest struggle, positive assumptions manifest success. If you begin to assume that life is working in your favor, you will notice that opportunities arise effortlessly. If you assume people are kind and supportive, you will start meeting those who treat you with respect. If you assume money flows easily, financial abundance will begin to show up in unexpected ways. The shift does not happen outside of you, it happens within you first, and then the world follows. Many people struggle with this concept because they are too focused on appearances. They look at their current circumstances and think, this is just the way things are. But what they fail to realize is that what they see now is simply the result of past beliefs and assumptions. It is not permanent, it is not fixed, it is only a reflection of who they were. The moment they change their inner state, the outer world must eventually catch up. This is why persistence is key. If you change your thoughts for a day but then go back to your old beliefs the next, nothing will shift. The outer world takes time to reflect a new assumption, just like a mirror takes time to adjust when you move. If you hold on to the new belief long enough, if you refuse to be discouraged by what you see, and instead stay faithful to what you know within, your reality must transform. There is no force outside of you that has control over your life. You are the cause. The world is the effect. Whatever you assume to be true within yourself will become the truth in your external reality. Instead of trying to fix things outside of you, focus on aligning your inner state with the reality you wish to experience. The world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Faith is the substance of all creation. It is the invisible force that shapes reality, the unseen power that turns imagination into experience. Without faith, nothing moves, nothing changes, and nothing manifests. Faith is not merely hope or wishful thinking. It is the absolute knowing that what you desire already exists, even before the world shows you any evidence. It is the conviction that reality must conform to your inner assumption, no matter what appears before your eyes. When you operate with unshakable faith, you become the master of your destiny, bending reality to match your inner vision. Most people live by what they can see, hear, and touch. They rely on their senses to tell them what is real and what is possible. But the senses are only reflections of past assumptions. They do not dictate the future. If you look at your current circumstances and allow them to define your belief, you will remain trapped in a cycle of repetition. The key is to develop faith in the unseen, to trust in the reality of your desire before it appears in the physical world. This is how all great manifestations occur, not by waiting for proof, but by believing in the proof within. Faith does not waver, it does not question, it does not doubt, and it does not need reassurance from the external world. A person with faith does not check for evidence because they know the evidence must come. They do not allow setbacks to shake them because they understand that the external world is always rearranging itself to match their internal conviction. If they do not yet see their desire, they remain steadfast, knowing it is already theirs in the unseen realm and must soon materialize. Many people fail to manifest their desires because they allow the slightest delay or obstacle to shake their belief. They say they have faith, but the moment they encounter resistance, they abandon their conviction. True faith does not bend in the face of appearances. It does not say, maybe it won't happen. It does not say, I'll believe it when I see it. It stands firm, unwavering, declaring, "It is already done." The moment you entertain doubt, you plant the seed of failure. But the moment you persist, no matter what, reality must bow to your assumption. Faith is not blind, it is the highest form of seeing. It is the ability to see beyond what the eyes reveal, to perceive the truth of what already exists in the unseen. The world tells you to be realistic, to base your beliefs on what you can prove. But that is the exact mindset that keeps people small. Every great achievement in history, every innovation, every breakthrough was made possible by those who believed in what others could not yet see. They did not wait for permission from reality. They imposed their will upon it through the power of faith. Faith is not passive, it is an active force. It requires discipline, focus, and a refusal to entertain any idea that contradicts your desire. It is not enough to simply wish for something. You must walk, talk, and think as if it is already yours. You must embody the state of the wish fulfilled with such certainty that the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. This is not pretending, it is knowing. It is stepping into the version of yourself who already has what you seek and refusing to acknowledge any version of reality that says otherwise. Doubt is the only thing that stands between you and your desire. It is the voice that whispers, "What if it doesn't happen?" It is the habit of looking at circumstances instead of holding to your inner vision. But doubt only has power if you entertain it. The moment you dismiss it, the moment you refuse to give it any space in your mind, you weaken its grip. Faith and doubt cannot coexist. One must dominate. You must make the conscious choice, moment by moment, to side with faith. Faith is the final key to manifestation because it sustains you when nothing in the outer world seems to be changing. It keeps you steady when others doubt you, when circumstances contradict your vision, and when time tests your patience. Those who master faith never stop winning because they understand that reality is not something they chase. It is something they command. They know that the world bends to their belief, not the other way around. And because they never let go of that knowing, they always receive exactly what they expect.